morning and welcome to a gloomy day here at Alton Towers. It is Scarefest, it's Halloween time of the year as we look down the beautiful Tower Street. Now then, we've come up to Scarefest this year. We weren't really sure whether or not it was going to be on, to be honest with you. And we haven't made our mind up yet what mazes we're going to go in terms of how many. We definitely want to do the attic, because the attic was one of our favourite mazes from last year. In terms of the other ones, we're not 100% sure. Now then, for those that follow the channel, you'll know very well that I don't just jump in these to give you reviews for something to do. If I don't think they're very good value, I won't go in them, new or not. We have read a few reviews online. It's not opening weekend by any means, so I have got a vague idea sort of what we want to do. We live quite far away from Alton Towers. There's no guarantee we're going to stay into the night. We really want to gauge how busy the park's going to be. I suspect it's going to be fairly busy, but I really want to gauge on how busy the park's going to be. You see the car there, look, burning out some smoke. Because I don't want to be standing in 60 to 90 minute queues all day long. Now then, we are going to make some quick progress this morning, heading round. It's still quite early, so there's not a lot open yet. We're going to head round to Wicker Man, and we're going to take the left-hand side of the park towards Nemesis, probably Runaway Train, Jewel and Galactica, potentially, depending on queue and how many it's running. And then we're going to kind of venture over to the other side of the park and just see how busy it is. It was really easy to get in. Obviously you have to walk to the park. The monorail isn't in operation. I imagine the monorail's not in operation still because of the amount of people it would dump off at one time to get into the park, more than actually being safe on the monorail, because I can't see there being a problem with that. Everything is nicely well laid out. For those that watched our last vlog, they know we were very complimentary of the park and how they did it. There was just one issue we had that day, but everything has been really good this morning. The park is buzzing, people are, you know, floating around. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really good atmosphere today. You can probably just see over the back as well, the stage is now set further back on the grass rather than right in your face. And a lot of the Oktoberfest stalls and things have remained and been completely rebranded for Scarefest. So there's far more to do than what there normally is. We're not aware of any ride closures except Enterprise today. We know that Enterprise has completely given up once again. But we are expecting Wicker Man to be open, taking into account it's had quite a few problems this year and has shut several times again since we last come as well. But welcome to Scarefest. It's not going to be very long. I know the park's going to be busy today, so I'm not going to walk around trying to film in amongst loads and loads of people going down one-way streets and following things. We're going to get you some nice ride shots, and any mazes we do, we'll review as to how we found the maze, and then if we don't do, we'll probably explain to you why we're not doing them, and in our summary at the end we'll explain as well how our day has gone. So yeah, welcome to Scarefest. It's Alton Towers. Let's go. Stop of the day come from Nemesis, the beast that is this wonderful monster behind us. Now, I've started the day at Wicker Man. Just thought it would be better to get Wicker Man out of the way, to be honest with you. And even by the time we got to the park and got into the park at 9 o'clock, it was really busy around the Wicker Man area, and they kind of opened it in stages. But the ride did open about 5 to 10. So we managed to get on Wicker Man and managed to come down here and do Nemesis by 10:30, which quite honestly, really happy with. And Nemesis, of course, stunning ride. Many know it's one of my, if not my favourite ride. It never rides badly. Granted, it is a bit slower in the morning. You can feel it's a bit slower in the morning as well, compared to late afternoon. It tends to run a little bit faster once it's warmed up. But no complaints, genuinely no complaints. Wicker Man running really, really well. I've heard a lot of reports recently that people have said that Wicker Man is feeling a bit rough, feeling a bit kind of juddery. Completely disagree. It's just, it's aging really, really well. Really well. Wait for that to go around. And of course, we were at Blackpool Pleasure Beach not that long ago and did say, you know, the raging sort of argument between which one's better, Icon and Wicker Man. And every time I ride Icon, I think it's a better ride. Then I ride Wicker Man and think, actually, no, that's a better ride. Arguably, they're two different rides. And I'm going to stop comparing them. I am going to stop comparing them because, you know, Icon is a smooth, you know, a smooth sort of airtime, you know, kind of metal steel ride in which you glide around gracefully, and it's not overly thrilling. It's just really fun, really, really fun. Where Wicker Man is this out of control, complete animal wooden coaster where you're, you know, juddering from side to side, bounced up and down out your seat. It's a completely different experience. And when you consider they've got different height restrictions, they're, you know, completely different theme, different locations, different types, it's very hard to say which one's better than the other. Amazing ride on Icon. I think as a ride I prefer Icon. I really think it delivers a little bit more, but not a lot, not a lot. You have to really appreciate that Alton Towers have gone for wooden coaster with rich theme, and it just works so, so well. It's running on 3 trains. They are leaving a gap between groups, so yeah, the queue for that by the time I got off was massive, sort of 80-90 minutes. Won't be going back on that unfortunately today. Not sure if we're staying until night time, to be honest with you, but I thought we'd bring down, show you a bit of Nemesis. But I'm actually, while it's quiet, gonna head over to Galactica because it's not built up the queues yet. So that's the next stop. As we get a little bit of rain, obviously, because it's not supposed to rain today, I think it's fair to say that Nemesis still sort of ranks up there as one of the better coasters, and it can hold its own in the world. I don't really think there's any doubt about that. Whether or not it's your favourite, kind of irrelevant, to be honest. It definitely holds it up there, which other ones don't. But I will say, the Galactica just doesn't at all. You know, got a massive appreciation for the ride, which opened, you know, in 2002, quite a long time ago now, but it's been superseded in such a way by some amazing coasters. I can't remember the name of the one out in Japan, but it's highly regarded. I've been on Manta at SeaWorld, and it's just so much better. So much better. And it's a bit of a shame, and I think it's also fair to say that Merlin's dive into VR has also been a roaring failure. I don't think it can be summed up any other way. I think Galactica was a massive failure, and I think that Darren Brown's Ghost Train, sadly, has been a massive failure, which has spent 2020 closed because of the pandemic. And of course VR was actually removed on Galactica long before the pandemic. So yeah, it just seems an uproar, you know, a real failure. I don't think they'll ever do anything with Galactica. I can't see it being removed as we look here at Wicker Man. I bet that's flying around the track now. It started to rain. I imagine it's got quite busy over here now. But I can't ever imagine Galactica being removed, but there are certainly better ones out there, whereas Nemesis really holds its own. And I think it's also important to say, sorry about the water, that, you know, Oblivion still has the drop, so the Oblivion still has its trick element, whereas arguably Air doesn't, or Galactica doesn't have any kind of, you know, real trick element, which kind of sets it aside from anything else. Sadly, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But of course, Wicker Man, you know, you add the theme in, which Air or Galactica's never really had, and you add the, you know, out of control, you add the rain as well. Here's a ride that stands out along with Nemesis in its pit, with its monster Oblivion diving into its hole, you know, 13 with its indoor trick track. does just seem like Galactica maybe wasn't the ride that's stood the best of time, you know, best of times, to be honest with you, compared to some of the others. Park is really starting to get busy now. I'm gonna head back down there. We're just gonna check out some queue times before deciding what to do next. Some great shots of Wicker Man there, flying around in the rain, no doubt about it. Now, normally the stage is around about here for Scarefest. However, this year they're kind of taking the Oktoberfest stance and spread it out a lot more, which is a great idea to do anyway, let alone because of the situation that we're all currently in. You know, the stalls are really nicely laid out and you've got a variety of options over there, which we'll go and look at in a minute. But we also have the stage now, which has been bought here, with some picnic and some seating for food just in front of it. We're going to try and catch a show at some point, but so much more space here, so much more space. You can kind of wander down on here, or we can go over here. Now, starting off over there, you've got Tricks and Treats, which you can see candy floss hanging up. You then go to the Monster Grill, which was the same as the kind of Oktoberfest sausage, which they were selling, more expensive here than they were at Fort Park, I was led to believe. Freaky Fries, which is like loaded fries, so you can get a various amount of toppings on top of those. You've got churros, everyone likes churros. And you've got the spectacular roast down there, as well as, I can't even see what that one is. Some delights, some sweets and things like that. And then rather than the stage being here, it is now over here, as you can see. The stage doesn't look a lot different, in honesty, but it's definitely a more suited area. As I said, we will try and catch a show before we leave. It's not been our priority. Worth noting as well that Alton Towers have put toppers on all of their tables, not just the ones in here, but also ones we've seen over there, which means it's easy to wipe down and keep clean. Again, why aren't they sharing this with other parks? Been to Legoland? They certainly haven't done it. Share, 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 Merlin. Share, share, share. Oh yeah, not to forget Oozy Boozy down the bottom. It's not a family day today here at Alton Towers. Remarkably, not a family day. They are selling alcohol today. Shop is home to some 40th anniversary Scarefest. £35 for a hoodie. Get yourself a mask. Something for the little ones as well. Up in X sector, the Enterprise, the poor Enterprise, has had a torrid year. In fact, it's had a torrid couple of years, to be honest with you, and remains closed for the Halloween period. It was very, very late opening. I appreciate, obviously, the park was shut for the first several months of the year, but very late opening on top of that. And on top of that, again, has suffered another downtime. Now, of course, for those that don't know, the original Zodiac from Fort Park was actually, the parts were bought here. They were bought here, which may well explain why Lost City Blue is peeking through that seat. Very oddly, because obviously they were painted up. The original Zodiac was painted up really, really well down in Fort Park. But all the parts for it came here to Alton Towers when they purchased Drayton Manor's Enterprise for Fort Park. But it's closed. I can't see it opening now for the rest of the season. There's no work going on it. To be fair, it's not been taken apart. And I know it's old, but it's a fairly simple ride, to be honest with you. So, you know, it looks like it's undergone quite a lot of welding, quite a lot of testing and things. I think the park know if they get rid of it, they can't get a new Enterprise, but they could get a new style one. You think a Dreamcatcher down in Dreamland. Ah, it looks stunning here. Really bring some life back to this this area as well, because I mean, this thing does look old and decrepit. And I've said before, I'm not a massive fan of the theme around here. You know, I think Oblivion worked really, really well. with the black hole as sort of, you know, diving into the unknown. I still don't really know where Smiler fits into it, to be perfectly honest with you. I really don't. But there's a lot of love for the Smiler, and today it is running a whopping 90-minute queue. And it is one we're going to miss. We're going to miss all the rides in X Sector. We've done really well this morning, to be fair. So X Sector is not our stop. But we are just about to head round towards the attic and do our first maze of the day. Here is the Amityville Mine Tours. Of course, missing the helmets this year. Very slightly different setup inside. A few touch things removed. But particularly noticeable that no helmets inside the Skin Snatchers. We're heading round. I mean, we had to go at Fort Park the other day, but again, on a time ticket, why would you be queuing over there? We're heading round to the attic, which you might be able to see is in the top half of the wonderful Alton Towers. Really well put together, the attic. Cannot wait to get round there. So a lot of people looking to get in the attic. I dread to think what the queue's like up there when we get up there. So you can see the over sticker this year saying the actors will not touch you, where in previous years they have been able to. But change for this year. Beautiful gardens, which will become the dusk walkthrough very soon, once the sun actually goes down. By looks of things, it's just lights, just pretty lights, tree lights and other lights as well, as you've seen just as we walked in. Now then, it is really busy here at the park, really busy at the park, which is kind of expected for Scarefest. You know, queues are topping out at 90 minutes, 75 minutes, no shorter than an hour for the big roller coasters. We've done quite a lot this morning, to be fair, which we obviously said to you about earlier. So we did quite a lot this morning. We kind of really powered through to try and get some rides done that we wanted to get done before getting our maze tickets and then before heading into the maze. Now then, there are 3 mazes here this year, 4 if you include Darkest Depths, which is more of a story sort of maze for the family, which has moved this year. And I have to say, I haven't found it yet. So we do need to go and find out exactly where they put it, because I have no idea where they put it. Now the other 3 mazes are the returning attic, the Skin Snatchers, the Mine Tours, and the new maze is the Toxic Waste Yard. Now then, we've just done the attic, and for those wondering, up here is in tier 1, so this is tier 1 of the lockdown restrictions, which in indoor spaces is not mixing with more than 6 people. from outside your household. So I have to say, it didn't start great by batching groups of 10, which means bundling 3 groups together in order to do it. You know, we've been to other scare parks which have kind of gone individually, and we have heard here as well they were batching you individually, and it made it very difficult. So, you know, anyone that's been in the attic will know that once you're inside, you know, it's fairly open, but once you kind of get in to the main part and you go for your speech, you know, the area there is no bigger than sort of a lounge diner. So, you know, to have 10 people in there from 3 different households, 4 of you include the actor, I think is a bit out of order, and I think it's breaking rules. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing. I know people were hammering the comments about it, you know, you shouldn't go, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I pay my money for Alton Towers to keep me safe while I'm here, as long as I'm adhering to what they're doing, which is exactly what I'm doing by wearing my mask all day. There's no one here in the gardens, which is the reason why I'm not wearing it. Now, the maze itself is fantastic, and I said last year it was one of my favourite mazes last year. It's a little bit more predictable this year because there are no changes to it at all, absolutely none. You climb the staircase into the attic, you know, and you go through sort of some creepy rooms. I said last year as well, the toy room was really, really creepy, and that remains before sort of heading into the finale of the maze, which is the kitchen. The kitchen's got some wonderful lights in it, some really odd flashing lights in it. Really enjoyed it before sort of climbing into the oven and going through the final part. Now, the only thing I will say is it is very dark in there. And it may sound stupid, but it is very dark in there. So again, when you're batched with a lot of people, I was at the back, it's very difficult not to walk into someone. It also must be a real hard job for the actors to stay distance. And, you know, you are told at the beginning, and, you know, fair play to the park. We said last time we were here, distancing is very good. The staff, you know, in your queue line, and even going into the room, you know, and even in the room itself, they're like, well, you know, you're 2 meters away from everyone. It just makes it a little bit difficult when you're going into the mazes. It's not something we've experienced yet going through the mazes. So yeah, it was difficult at the end when we couldn't see anything, just couldn't see a thing. You know, actor nearly ran into me, I nearly ran into the person in front, and it puts you on a different kind of tension, probably not the tension you want for going through a scare maze. But the attic itself is brilliant. The scenery in there is spot on. It's nice and tight, which is really, really good as well. So yeah, looking forward, you know, was really looking forward to that, and it did deliver. It really did deliver. The actors are brilliant and thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, we're not going in Skin Snatchers. For the simple reason that I've never enjoyed that maze. I think it looks fantastic down in the Alton Mine Tours, but I just don't enjoy it. I don't find it scary. You know, without the lanterns this year, I know it's been brightened up a bit, so I don't really see the point, to be honest with you. And I'm not going in the Wasteland either, which might disappoint some people as it's a brand new maze and we like to try it out. But, you know, we've had a look through the Wasteland because you can see quite a lot of it. It's the same place as Scary Tales was quite a few years ago, which was a walkthrough zone. And you know, you look through and there's just pallets and just rubble. You know, it's a clown graveyard wasteland. It just doesn't look that thrilling. You know when you walk into even Skin Snatchers, but you know, the attic, you know that it looks stunning and that real detail's gone into it. It does look like the wasteland's just been thrown together, to be honest with you. And you have to remember, you have to pay £8 a maze here. So they're not free, much like Fort Park. You know, if I don't deem it worth paying for it, even for the sake of the video and telling you guys about it, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do it. Attic, superb, absolutely superb. And of course the dusk walk here, we're kind of walking through now, but we can see it's just lights, lots of lights, which all look beautiful at night because the gardens are absolutely stunning, to be honest with you. Absolutely stunning. So yeah, we've got a you know, we've got a few things left to do. We're going to obviously show you all the decorations. We started our intro up the top. We started our intro at the entrance with the decoration, but we will show you some more decorations. We're going to show you some ride footage, but arguably our Scarefest vlogs are slightly shorter than what our other ones are because the park is so busy. It's really hard to think as you go around. I mean, even down here in the gardens, you can usually walk through the gardens and see nobody. Not today. Not today. Didn't queue any more than sort of 15 minutes for the attic. Again, on a time ticket, we've never really had a problem at Alton Towers, but we can see a lot of extended queue lines around. But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, we got straight on it. We got straight on it. And it's just so beautiful here. The park is so beautiful. And although we don't, you know, we ride really hard in the morning, we don't do a lot of rides in the afternoon, the landscape and setting is just not something you get in Portsmouth. Which is the whole idea of coming here. decided we'd pick up some pork scratchings. So, although these have been kind of done to look like Alton Towers stalls, don't be fooled, they're not. They're not at all. They are third-party ones, so you will not get annual pass discount at any of these stalls. Take that what you will. Here is the end of the toxic waste yard. We'll walk around now and show you where the entrance is, but effectively you can see the smoke going through the trees there. This is the duration of the maze. I don't think it would be worth doing during the daytime, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I know the actors have to work hard as it is, but can't see it worth it. You can hear the chainsaws, plenty of them going around. And we'll take you around to the entrance now and see how many people are actually waiting. It's worth noting now that Gangster Granny is advertised for 2021. I'm really not sure how close we're going to be to the end of all this by 2021, but that's when it's being advertised for. And here it is. The Darkest Depths is located right at the top, actually, by 13. The queue was too big for 13. We didn't walk down there, to be honest with you. And as you can see here, off they go into the maze. Yeah, I mean, you know, Scary Tales wasn't very long. This one is no longer. I'm sorry, I'm just not paying the money for it. If you've been in it, let me know. Did I miss out? Did I miss out? People have told me before that I've missed out on certain attractions and things. Not convinced I have. And on this one, not convinced I have. But let me know. If you're coming here, you can do all free scare mazes, not including Darkest Depths, for £22 if you book in advance. So this is where it's located, just at the base of the towers, heading into X Sector. You can see the final run through there is through at night. It's going to be red lights, cages, and of course the chainsaw. No good maze is complete without a chainsaw. Just in case you want to see how many people rock up after 4 o'clock for the 4 o'clock Merlin ticket, here they all are. Okay, there is a few more out here, to be fair. Still not as many as I thought. I still think I've seen more people leave the park than we're actually going in now. Use one of the contactless bins. That was Scarefest at Alton Towers. We are now out of the park, and you know, Alton Towers, I've said before when we've come, it's really one of two ways. You get here early, you pick a side of the park to do, and you do that side, and then if you want to do the other side of the park, you queue effectively for 60-90 minutes per ride, and there's no other way of describing that. Just got Galactica there, look. It's amazing, we just walked the whole length of the park after we were just down there, and we couldn't exit that end. They wouldn't let us exit that end. Because with a park this size, it's really the only way of doing it. Now, of course, also, as a Merlin annual pass holder, it used to be get here at 9 o'clock, you could go and do Oblivion and Smiler, or Nemesis and Galactica, depending what was on what, in terms of early rider, and then still get to your next ride. Recently, it changed to 9:30. Didn't really give you a chance to do any more than just waiting for Wicker Man to open, and now you go in with everyone else. And if you don't do that, you then arrive like everyone else has at 4 o'clock, when the queue's already 60 to 90 minutes. So I've said for a couple of, visits now, a couple of years, that Alton Towers just isn't quite as magical as what it was 5 years ago for me personally. you know, we chose to do Wicker Man and then do the left-hand side of the park, which is Nemesis, Galactica, Runaway Train, Jewel, and then by the time we got to the other side of the park, it was carnage. It was carnage, and I'm just not willing to queue 90 minutes for the Smiler, or Oblivion, or 13, or any minutes for Rita. So yeah, that's sort of, you know, that's the disappointing part these days of Alton Towers, which you never used to get. So you get to about 4 o'clock and you look at the queues and you just think, oh, I've had enough, it's time to go. Whereas these poor people going in now are walking into hour and a half queues. But we were here for Scarefest, and as I said, the park do Tower Street fantastic. It looks amazing, always looks fantastic, Tower Street, when you enter it, and this year's no different. The mazes which are on offer, massive credit to the park that they are actually open and operating during this pandemic time. The two mazes, the mine tours and the attic, haven't changed, apart from the lights and the mine tours. We know that, we haven't been in it. You know, it's not a favourite maze of mine, especially when you're paying money towards it, so I'm not going in it. And the attic was brilliant, it really was brilliant. Best pleased about the batching, but was brilliant. Darkest Depths has moved right the way up to 13 area. It's a bigger space from what I hear, but you know, it's not something I haven't got. If I had the kids with me, I would probably do it, but I'm not gonna do it. We, you know, went into the one that's where David Walliams was now. I can't even remember the name of it. House of Horrors, I think it was House of Horrors, and everyone raved about it, and I have to say it was one of the most boring experiences of my life, so I don't want to get caught up with the same with Darkest Depths. And then the new maze, the Toxic Junkyard, the Clown Waste Junkyard, you know, I have to be honest, it doesn't look very long. It looks the same route as what Scary Tales took a few years ago. It's clowns again, which is fine. I don't mind clowns with a chainsaw end in it, and it's all open air. And it's quite good at its open air, given everything that's going on. But again, you're paying money for this. You know, it's just doesn't have the substance. I thought Attic was a little bit shorter this year. It's not. It's exactly the same, but it felt a bit shorter this year. But the quality of it is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Whereas the Junkyard, you can see into it, you can see over it, and you can see the ending of it, and it looks thrown together quite quickly. So I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not paying money to go into it. I can't lie to you on that one. If you're looking for a review on that, I'm really sorry, you're not going to get it from here. But Scarefest as a whole, as we said, it is fantastic that Scarefest is on. Really good that Parker put it on. Safety measures seem to be in place, no problems, been no social distancing issues at all today, which is really nice. The park has felt busy, really busy. I haven't got overwhelmed at points by any means, but it is a big park, so I know it's difficult to tell. But I'm under the same impression I've been with Alton Towers for a long time, and I know that you know, the great John Wardley always said it's about the coasters. You get the coasters right, everything else is a side attraction. The problem is there are no real side attractions for me. You know, you go, you get a couple of coasters done quickly, you then queue the rest of the day for coasters, you get back in your car and think, yeah, I've done all 6 major coasters, and probably didn't achieve anything else. You know, the Enterprise is clearly falling apart, Blade is clearly falling apart. You know, it's taken a long time to get that back together as well. Hex is reduced, but Hex is brilliant. I still love Hex, but the loading of it is not good during social distancing times. It's good it's open, but it's not good during social distancing times. It doesn't have a killer dark ride. Runaway Mine Train is great for families. CBeebies is only for the little ones. I think we're hoping that Gangster Granny is going to bring something a little bit more grown up, but it's not really. It's a carousel, frog hopper, and an indoor attraction based on a book. It's still missing that sort of market around the Runaway Train sort of market. And you know, flat rides, it's still desperate. It's crying out for them. It's crying out for something else to do. You know, get to 4 o'clock now. I don't want to queue an hour and a half for Smiler, but I'd queue half an hour for Ripsaw, or I'd queue half an hour for a Rush or a Samurai or something like that. Yeah, that's where I am with it. That's where I am with Alton Towers at the moment. But what did you think? What do you think of Scarefest? I think it's been a good event. I'm really pleased the park have managed to put it on. It's great to see the park, you know, busy and thriving. But where are you with Alton Towers? Where are you with Alton Towers? Did you visit for Scarefest? Did I miss out on those mazes? I might have missed out on those mazes. Let me know, let me know. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's shorter than normal. The park is so busy. I have to be honest, you know, with mask on and everything, trying to shout over people, it's just so hard to vlog. It's so hard to vlog, I won't even lie to you. So I've kept it a little bit shorter, but I do want your opinions down below. Did I miss out? Should I have done Toxic Junkyard? Will I need to come back? Thank you for joining us from Alton Towers. We'll see you soon.